I hear the forest crying, kingdom come. I see the horrifying things we've done. I want to go way down by the end of the road, all the way to kingdom come. Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth, oh hear me pray. Give us this day. Let our needs get met along the way. And most of all I pray you, let your kingdom come. Yeah, kingdom come. Whoa. All our brightest dreams are shadowed by the darkness of the night. I keep watching the horizon for the slightest hint of light. Give us this day, give us this day. Let your kingdom come. Whoa. It's an ancient story that still gets told to those who hear and those who don't, by prophets and trees and things out of the blue. But once that cry has reached your ears, your heart gets filled by what you hear, and what you hear is just the sound of you crying, kingdom come, kingdom come, kingdom come.
Shalom, Chavarim. Welcome to our Thursday fellowship and word study. We're going to start off with the word study, usually about 30 minutes. And tonight, Abba willing, we're covering the last chapter of what's commonly known with great error as the Book of Judges. This is the Book of Shaphat, and it'll be a short study. It's just one chapter, and I have a little summation, and then caregiver is going to share a most wonderful melta, a revelation that was given to her since we met last. And also today I got the that trace mineral iron supplement I told you about last time. Man, I'm telling you, they have an eyedropper, and it has marks on it, very easy to read, and you're supposed to take about that much every day, but they say you should break it up throughout the day. So I went like, okay, there's 2, there's 4, so I did like a quarter. Figure I'll do 4 administrations a day. I did the first one, and I'm telling you, in less than 15 minutes, I felt a very serious difference. This is a much better iron. The liquid iron, as I said last time we talked, it has to go into your stomach and be processed before it can go to work. This stuff, you can drink it with water or juice, or you can just, it's a very small amount I'm doing. Just put it on some food, scoop it in. At the end of a meal, you want to do it on a full stomach, and no processing is needed. It goes right to work wherever it's needed. This is exciting. So if you thought you were happy to get the iron before, go to Tuesday's live cast and check it out. Get that iron. It'll do you much better. Now, before let me see, I don't have the chat pulled up. Let me do that for me. Live now. Well, hot diggity dog. Let's get the chat out here for the professor. Okay, and then get that out so it doesn't yak at us. Give me a second, friends. I'll be right with you. Let's do it this way so I can see. Whoa. Oh, come on. Cool. So anyway, let's stop the chat. Let's bow our hearts and give our time today to our beloved Elohim. Dear beloved Abba Father, oh Abba, we come before you. Pardon me. We come before you, Father, to worship you, to praise you, to thank you, Abba, for everything. Thank you so much, Father, for drawing people to this fellowship, calling them, giving them the chance to experience the opening of their eyes, ears, and hearts, that they might see, hear, and understand. For the first time, in many cases, and in other cases, for the first time in new ways, to receive your truth, your word, Abba, the way that you meant it to be delivered and has not been delivered throughout all of history. As we give this day, Father, this fellowship to you, Yeshua, and your Ruach HaKodesh, praying through Yeshua, in Yahweh, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh Echad. And all the newbies and all the truebies said,
Amen.
Amen. Look at you, little girl. How you doing today?
I'm doing great in the love of Elohim.
Hallelujah.
His light.
You know, I last time I switched some settings on my camera to get rid of that red dot that was there, and my hat was going like, oh, hello, you know. And I said, that ain't working. So I went back to the settings I had before, and look, the red dot's gone. You know why? I kicked those demons off my porch yesterday. That's why.
That's right. They were projecting it on there.
Yeah, they were hiding behind the blinds.
Just to drive you nuts.
Those little buggers.
Yeah, they know you're Professor Nitpicky. They know how to push the buttons.
Cool. Well, let's go to our study, and I'll see you in a little bit.
All right, shalom.
Shalom. Let's see. Shalom to everyone who's here. I love you all so much. Thanks for coming. We're, as I said earlier, Abba willing, we're going to complete our study in the Book of Shaphat, mistakenly called Judges. There are no judges. There's only one judge, and that's the Father. And you'll see I have the Amplified Bible up here, Classic Edition. That's really quite meaningless. It's only for you to read along with me and see the grand errors that are in all English Bible versions, and to see what I do to correct that. I call it removing mud off of the Father's oil painting. And if you watch enough of my videos, boy, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So the final chapter, 21. Let me get my notes. Can't start without my notes. This is the book that Moshe made for me thousands of years ago and sent it to me UPS. And these are the notes that the Malachim from the Shamayim bring down to me. I never get to see them until I open them. It's like, oh, look, here's notes for chapter 21. I can tell which Malach, which angel did it by the handwriting here. See that? Chapter 21, we're going to look at wives being provided for the tribe of Benjamin. Now the men of Israel had sworn at Mitzpah. You have to remember, last time, boy, I don't even know if I want to remember it. They took the Levite's wife, and basically they killed her. He got angry, boy, and he cut her up into 12 pieces and sent one piece to each of the tribes of Israel as a summons. Come on, you guys are going to pay for this. Well, the tribe of Benjamin would have to pay for it, but he sent a summons. And as a summons, he sent her body parts, 12 parts to 12 tribes. They all came and they said, "Who did this, man? This is crazy." Well, they went and they slaughtered the tribe of Benjamin's wives and children, everything they had. So now, the men of Israel swore at Mitzpah, "None of us will give his daughter in marriage to anyone from the tribe of Benjamin." And the Israelites came to the house of Elohim, that is, Beit El, and sat there until evening before Elohim, and lifted up their voices and wept bitterly. They wept. And they said, "Oh, Yahweh, actually, I think they said, "Oh, Adoni, my master, the Elohim of Israel, why has this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel?" And next morning the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the Israelites said, "Which among all the tribes of Yisrael did not come up with the assembly to Yahweh?" Because they had taken a great oath concerning him who did not come up to Yahweh at Mitzpah, saying, whoever doesn't come is going to die. Well, the Israelites changed their purpose. They had compassion for the tribe of Benjamin, their kinsmen and said, there is one tribe cut off from Israel today. What will we do for wives for those who are left? Seeing we have sworn by Yahweh that we will not give them our daughters as wives. And they said, which one is there of the tribes of Israel that did not come up to Mitzpah, to Yahweh? And look, no one had come to the camp from Yavesh Gilad to the assembly, because when the people were mustered, behold, not one of the citizens of Yavesh Gilad was there. And the congregation sent there 12,000 of the bravest men, saying, go and smite the inhabitants of Yavesh Gilad, kill them with the sword, also the women and the little ones. And this is what you will do: utterly destroy every male and every woman who is not a virgin. And they found among the inhabitants of Yavesh Gilad 400 young virgins who had known no man by lying with him, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent word to the tribe of Benjamin, who were at the rock of Rimmon, and invited them to be friendly with them. And the tribe of Benjamin returned at that time, and they gave them the women whom they had saved alive of the women of Yavesh Gilad, and yet there were not enough for them. And the people had compassion on Benjamin, because Yahweh had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. So then the elders of the congregation said, what are we going to do for wives for those who are left, since the women of Benjamin are destroyed? And they said, there must be an inheritance for the survivors of Benjamin, so that a tribe will not be wiped out of Israel. But we cannot give them wives of our daughters, because the Israelites have sworn, cursed be he who gives a wife to Benjamin. So they said, look, there's the yearly feast of Yahweh at Shiloh, which is north of Beit El, on the east of the highway that goes up from Beit El to Shechem, and south of Levonah. So, okay. They commanded the tribe of Benjamin, go and lie in wait in the vineyards and watch. If the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in the dances, then come out of the vineyards and catch every man his wife from the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. What an exciting evening. And when their fathers or their brothers come to us to complain, we'll tell them, grant them graciously unto us, because we did not reserve a wife for each of them in battle, neither did you give wives to them, because that would have made you guilty of breaking your oath. And the tribe of Benjamin did so, and took wives, according to their number, from the dancers whom they carried off. And then they went and returned to their inheritance, and repaired the towns, and dwelt in them. And the Israelites left there then, every man to his tribe and family, and they went out from there, every man to his inheritance. In those days, there was no king in Yisrael. There's the theme of what follows this study, my friends. Every man did what was right in his own eyes. Ah, great. How cool is that? Talk about chaos. This, we saw this quote, in those days there was no king in Israel. We saw that 3 times in these later chapters. All was well while Joshua and his assistants lived, but then gradually came disorder. Why? There was no king. Why? Because there was no Elohim. There was no Yahweh. There was no Shar Tzaba, Yahweh Bo, Yeshua. There was no Ruach HaKodesh. What are you talking about? Well, granted, there was no renunciation of Elohim, no public or blatant atheism. No, there was a deadlier form of atheism and disbelief going on, and that was and is keeping Elohim as a symbol, but not making him number one of a list of one. I mean, not making him number one on a list of one in your life. Worshipping him outwardly only. Prayerless prayers. Mechanical formalities. Let's go light a candle. Dead and lifeless consciences. This Saturday, Chavarim, we will look at what makes a man possess the true qualities of a king. Israel's first king is Elohim, of course. Look at 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 17. But we next will study the book of 1 Shemuel, mistakenly titled the 1 Samuel. His name wasn't Sam. His name was Shemuel. That means the name of Elohim. But Saturday we'll start our study in the book of 1 Shemuel, where we will experience one of the most wonderful stories in the entirety of Yahweh's Word, the story of King David. Now, I told you earlier that caregivers got something really cool to share. We're going to chat about it. On Tuesday last, we looked at the Levite who had an Isha Pilegesh, that is a wife and a concubine. And I expressed some of my views about that curious combination of descriptive titles. But then caregiver asked the father about it, and he showed her some wonders about it all, which she's going to share with us now. Come on, little girl.
Am I on?
You're on now.
Okay, this is so exciting. And I have to say, it just infused me with so much encouragement when you shared at the beginning that I had a revelation. The mishpacha went wild. So they're excited and I'm excited, and praise Abba for his revelation. This isn't caregiver's revelation. It's the Ruach just laid it on me. And I asked him, as Alan said, I asked him about that wife concubine thing. But first I asked him, before I turned the study on, Abba, this one was really upsetting. I don't understand why it was here, and I want to understand your heart for including this story in your word.
Yeah.
I don't see it, and it just seems so horrifying. There must be a reason, and I'm open. And I put the study on, and the first thing he drew my attention to, a lot of people ask, Do you hear his voice audibly? Well, sometimes, but more often than not, he pulls my attention like a magnet. That's how it works in the chat. You know, I'm going magnet to magnet to magnet, not every comment. So you said something about how the concubine is more like a whore, really, and the wife is the precious one. And you said, well, that's what you said. And then I remembered, oh my gosh, Israel and Yaakov. You talked about the spiritual difference of those names and how Yahweh goes back and forth with those names in Genesis. And just as you said to someone actually in the study last time, if you have a connection in your mind, you have to really shelve it for a minute and say, Abba, is this a real connection or is this a flesh connection? It just reminded me.
Yeah.
So I wrote it down and I asked Abba, if this is the real deal, show me more. How is it, give me a witness. And bing, then you said, he loved her, but she didn't reciprocate. And that was a witness to the Israel connection, Yahweh and Israel. And then tumble away. It tumbled big time. Her father was an advocate for her and begging her husband, don't leave her, give her another chance, stay one more night. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's Moshe pleading for Israel when they turned to the golden calf or whatever they did, and Yahweh was going, I'm coming to kill them all.
Well, he was at her father's house, and her father wanted him to stay. Not so much because he wanted him to stay with his daughter, because he was going to take her back home anyway, but he wanted to get to know the man who loved his daughter.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to know.
He wanted them to stay together as well.
Yeah.
He wanted it to work.
Yeah.
He knew that if the man left, it was over. It'd be over forever. He wouldn't come back.
Right.
So then where did he take me in your study? This was just such an exciting trek. He turned her over, put her out into the darkness, and that's when she was ravaged. And
he gave her to the devil.
He gave her to the devil. He turned her over to the darkness and let whatever happen, knowing that would probably happen.
Yeah.
And when he cut her up and distributed her, then the Father took me right to Ezekiel. And the valley of the dry bones that were separated, they weren't together. They had to come together. They were scattered. So Ezekiel 37 talks about the dry bones being reassembled. And then I knew. I had so much witness. This was Yahweh and his wife. And he's going to reassemble her and put her back together, which he's done. Israel is put together. There's the land of Israel. But if you look up Ezekiel 37, he says, but Yahweh, there's no life in these bodies. They have flesh now, but no life. And he said the four winds will blow into them and give them life. And then we've gone from Genesis with Yaakov and Israel all the way to Revelation chapter 7 where it says the four winds are stopped up, and then the 144,000 are sealed. And I kind of stopped there because I was just sobbing at the enormity of all this. And you guys can take it from there as the Father gives you guidance. I'm going to look into what happens next with the four winds, because I think that's where she gets a third of Israel gets brought to life.
Yeah, the amazing thing is Abba does this with his word all the time. There's millions of things that no one's ever seen, and we're going to be looking at things through all eternity. But he he just does this to show, like he always does with everything. Like he's got, like, 40,000 Israelites, and they're going to go up against 100,000 of the enemy, and Yahweh says, there's too many Israelites.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
want
gonna
it to
have
look like
see.
they did anything cool. I want it to be obvious that I'm the guy,
I'm the guy, and that's what's going to happen. Speaking of Ezekiel, that's what's going to happen with Ezekiel's war. No one will come to Israel's aid.
Yeah.
And Yahweh will say, I defend Israel.
And he's going to
Period.
do the same thing, because we saw in some of these wars where the enemy was turning against itself and killing each other in their madness. And he does that in the future when he goes to battle for Israel. He's going to have the enemy killing itself.
Yeah, I just, we talked earlier, we were going to discuss it more, and it just started rolling out, so I'm sorry.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. It's
I'm
just,
so
it's his
excited.
way of showing, his word. People say, the Bible was written by men. Yeah, right. Like they could have figured this one out,
Right.
And
Well,
it's so precise.
exactly, and since you mentioned that, since studying with you, before I studied with you, I knew the word. That's how the Father caught your attention, about me. I'd answer questions and they'd be correct. But I gotta admit to you and the Mishpacha here, I wasn't sure if I really believed it was true and truly written by the Father, or if I was just good at learning, memorizing things.
Yeah.
And raised to believe it was the truth. But when you really scrape the mud off, the Father was able to really minister to me and connect the dots I'd always had. But he's taken my hand and drawn, here's this dot number 1, dot number 2, and you play connect the dots. He's doing the work. He's numbering the dots.
Yeah, when you get rid of the idiotic translations of what he said, and you wipe that away, then you see, wow.
That's for real.
Yeah, and it's amazing that his word has been so dumbed down, and it was done by Satan, and it's done with a great excuse. It's like, oh, look, people in other languages need to read this. Yeah, but they need to read what the Father said, not what you say he said,
And that's what I was getting and wondering if I believed the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, how could you believe we're saved by grace through faith when you don't even know what those things are?
I didn't, and it really bothered me. I
Yeah.
wanted to know. So praise God, he drew us here. Everyone here is in that boat. I know they can relate. I can't read the chat and look in the camera because I look like a doofus when I read the chat.
Well, thanks for sharing all that with us.
Well, thank you for allowing me the privilege to share.
Yeah, and if more comes up, we'll continue.
Awesome.
That's what
Shalom.
fellowship is. Shalom, sweetheart. So, okay, let's go to the chat and see. Let's see who's here. I'm not gonna list them off, man, because everybody's here. They're always here, and I love you all so much for it. This family has grown. This mishpacha, this family, has grown in the most amazing ways. It's so wonderful to experience. Boy, I got to tell you, my friends, that the Blue Shield, I have to say this, I'm seeing, you can't deny it, man, I'm seeing the mechanism that Elohim built into our bodies at work, healing my body from things that the medical industry could not ever be aware of. And I see the way that it's doing, and I am experiencing, I think I might have said this Tuesday, an indescribably, I don't know what the word is, awesome intelligence that is moving around in my body. It's intelligent. It's doing things. It's removing things that I've been suffering with for more than 7 years. Powerful, horrible things that I've been suffering from, the cancer. And the medical industry, all they wanted to do was, cut me open and remove a couple of things, including this, because you're old now, you're not going to need it. But no, the Father's healing mechanism, it has intelligence. And it's doing things. I'm like, oh, this is lessening. And then this other symptom that always followed it in greater ways started lessening. Now the first one is like gone. And the second one is like really small. And it's moving around. It's like, you knock this down a little bit. I honestly think that our immune systems, through the blood, deliver specific combinations of drugs to take care of this, and they're doing that, working on that for a while. Then they go over here, and they're bringing the blood over there. That's the inflammation and the pain that goes on. But it's another concoction. It's a different drug cocktail that the body put together to take care of this. I've heard, and I don't know if it's a fact, I always believed it is, that the human body creates or has every drug known to man. And I think it's applying drugs here and there in ways that the medical industry is just not aware of and never would be. But what got me off on that tangent? I don't know. But that Blue Shield thing, it's a good thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to Thursday, Saturday, 3 months ago is when I started with the Blue Shield. Today is 3 months, and I'm still going through the crazies of it. It's not easy, but boy, is it trustworthy. And yeah, we got no questions. What's going on here? Hey, Masako. Michael. Michael loves me and all of you, gang. And we all love you too, Michael. Vanessa P. in Texas, faith and grace never made sense to me. Albert truly led me to you, Alan, and this precious Mishpacha family. And my darling caregiver, I love you so much. Look at this, it's so wonderful. Look at all these beautiful faces. Yeah. Yep. Now let me grab some text so I don't lose my place. I'm just going to go for the questions now. So, we have any newbies here with questions? Vanessa remembers Caregiver's Corner on Vimeo. Lonnie. Lonnie's been with us for a while now. We love you, Lonnie. Lonnie says, caregiver, I was wondering if all this was real when I first came here as well, but Abba, Father, Yahweh, our Elohim, lets us know when it's Him talking and guiding us. Yeah, you can't. It's like, I think I heard the voice of God, but I'm not sure. Oh, thanks for that not sure bit, because that means you didn't. When He speaks, there is no question about it. If there's a question, He didn't. Yeah, Amy says it's like a little construction crew inside our bodies, always working to fix things. Yeah, and it knows what it's doing. You know, everybody runs to the doctors. They don't know what they're doing. Actually, they know exactly what they're doing, but they don't know what the Father's doing, and that's why they kill people all the time. This little construction crew, they know what the Father's doing, and that's all they're doing. Gina, thank you, sweetheart, for your question about the concubines. Was it that some were widows and the kings would bring them in to give them so they would not look down upon, not necessarily had relations with all? Boy, that's a messy sentence you got going there, Gina. That the kings would bring them in to give them so they would not look down upon, not necessarily, I suppose you meant bad relations with all. No, it wasn't just kings. There weren't any kings there. It's like men, you know, they'd have many wives. Some of them, you know, like if you study Genesis with us, you saw that Yaakov had a wife, and then she, you know, was it Rachel with Yaakov? She couldn't have children, so she wanted him to impregnate her handmaiden. Stuff like that would go on, because if her handmaiden had children, the handmaiden was under her, they were her children. All kinds of stuff like that going on. But there were no kings about this, and they wouldn't bring them in to save any embarrassment. No, it had nothing to do with those things. Patricia Kong, hey Patty. Shalom, Alan, speedy recovery to you. Thank you, sweetheart. Elohim's mighty beracha on you and that sweet little child you're hugging. Michelle Riley just tuned in. Hey Michelle, welcome to our family. That sweet face. We're glad you're here, Michelle. Robert, our ham operator. What? Come on, Robert. I told you to turn that stuff off when I'm trying to talk. That's his office, you know. He's always playing with the radios. Robert says, thank you, Alan. That last verse is pretty much life for most people today. Look, you know, one thing I've seen through our study here, my friends, nothing has changed. Nothing. Not one iota. People haven't changed. The work of Hashatan hasn't. Everything's the same. Geez, how could those Jews do that? You know, I don't know. How could we do it? If you look at the world at large, they're acting like Israel at large, worshiping false gods, you know, until trouble comes and, oh, please, Abba Father, you know. Just like people do today. This is the most questionless chat I think I've ever seen. But, you know, what are you going to ask about? Hey, Darcy. Darcy says, greetings from Guatemala City, Guatemala. Oh, look at that pretty scene. Beautiful blue waters. Wonderful. Yeah, and by the way, if you're new, I've got 2 free books for you to check out. Where am I? Over here. Go to watchallen.com. And right here you'll see free. Get Allen's books. Click here. And you can download my, my 2 books. One is called Road to Paradise, How to Find the Way. You'll love it. It's 100 pages or so. Print it out. If you want it like a book form, just email the file to your printer. He'll make it into a book for you. And the first half is chapters. Each chapter tells a story about how Elohim revealed himself to me, starting at the age of 5. Some of the stories are amazing. And then the second half of the book is How to Find the Way, where I talk to you about how you find the way. That's the narrow path. So few look for it, fewer still find it, and fewest of all stay on it. Then also there's another book there called Lashon HaKodesh Kadam. And that's this one here, where it teaches you about all of these, let me do the pointing thing again. Down there, all those pictographic letter forms, those are the Father's original, oldest letter forms known to mankind. Those are the letter forms he wrote his word with. And you can learn all about them in that book. They're both free, so go get them. Go get them. Sick 'em. Hey, Joanne. Hey, Zachary. Zachary says, Alan, my uncle used to call the son Yeshua, but now he calls him, oh brother, Yahushua. Yeah, he must have been sucked in by the Eighth Sefer Bible producers who concocted this name on their own. You never saw that name anywhere on earth until, you know, whenever they came out with their Eighth Sefer Bible, which they've copied and pasted from all the other Bibles. It has all the 200 errors that all the other Bibles have. The only one that hasn't done that is the HalleluYah Scriptures. Tell them to get that Bible and burn it. It's garbage. And Yahushua is disgusting. If you want to insult our master, keep calling him that, and then you get to see what it feels like to go see him at the end of things, and he looks at you and he says, get out of here. I never knew you. Never. That's not his name. Straighten your old man out, Zach. Who told you to pray? My uncle used to call, oh, it's not your old man, it's your uncle. He used to call him Yeshua, but now the devil has lied to him and he believes it. He told me to pray for him? Well, he can't pray for himself. If he thinks he needs prayer, then what the hell, what's he doing, man? Is he drinking the wrong juice? Slap him. Say, what you want me to pray for you? That means you obviously know you're doing the wrong thing. Why don't you just stop doing the wrong thing, unks? Oh, brother. What are you going to do? It's like talking to a brick. Yeah, Robert, Alpine Cowboy. I stopped with the news. It was just getting to be so boring. Oh, look, they're throwing, Molotov cocktails on the highways again. Oh, look, the flying kites, That's all they ever do. What's up, little girl?
If they were creative, they'd capture 100 foxes and light their tails on fire.
Yeah, tie torches to two fox tails together, so the foxes are running away from each other, screaming. Everything's going on fire through the cornfields.
No, that would be newsworthy.
I'm surprised they haven't done that one yet. That's because they
like,
stopped reading the book.
I was going to say, it's not like it hasn't been done.
Yeah, by them. Their ancestors. Oh, you're so creative in war. Shalom. Yeah. Amazing. Let's tie corn stalks together, set them on fire after soaking them in bleach for 3 days, and throw them over the walls into Jewish neighborhoods. We got 10 minutes left. We got a short one because we had a short study. Matthew and Sandra, hey guys. Matthew and Sandra said Alan's audio book is what Sandra and I use to do our word studies. What an awesome beracha, what a blessing it is. Oh yeah, it opens up the truth to the Father's message, which you can't. He's so simple and basic. There's nothing abstract like faith in his book. It's more like the most basic thing, breastfeeding a baby, raising it till it's strong enough to communicate with, and then you take it for walks and teach it things. Those are the Father's ways. She's back again. The pestering little girl.
Oh,
I'm here to pester.
I'm here to pester. Yeah. Now I don't remember. Oh yeah, that's what he did with me through the study last time when I asked him for help. What? He took my hand and he went, "Oh, see this? Oh, look over here, see?" And as we're zooming through, he's like, "Oh," it was like a pilot once I was over the Atlantic, and he said, "Okay, everybody, I'm going to tip so everybody can look down there. There's a nuclear submarine." Yeah. And we all ran over there like little kids, pushing our faces on the windows.
Cute. Yeah, he was pitching tents. He's like, "Look, here's the tent peg. You don't drive this through that guy's head like she did, This is to secure the tent. Here, hammer it. See how I hammered it? Here, now you do one."
Exactly. And people ask, well, how does that happen? Well, I hope you caught the part where I knew the word, like I knew those pieces. So the Father could say, up, go here, go here, go here. So if you want those revelations, just stay in the word, and then he will start connecting it.
That's how it happens.
Amen.
Yeah. Shalom. Hey, Tony, Unks is spelled all caps, UNX. Unks. I don't know anybody else called that. All my nephews, for some reason, call me Unks. Raw, honest tea. What a sweet face. Put your name there, sweetheart, so we know what to call you. I mean, I don't know what raw honesty has to do with your life, but your name has a lot more to do with it. I love you, Alan. Vanessa P. in Texas says, I have kin in New Jersey. Laughing out loud, I feel you. It's the way you talk. Love it. Some of the finest people that ever lived are from New Jersey or are in New Jersey. And some of the biggest, most rotten snakes you ever met in your life from New Jersey. Yeah. The father's name. Where was I? Tiffany. Tiffany. Tiffany says, after I learned the precious name of Yahweh, I was so shocked that no one else seemed to be excited about it other than those in my house. Yeah, look, anybody that has demons, most everybody does, and they're really unaware of it, they don't want to hear that name. They're repulsed by it. They don't want to hear it. Everybody has demons, but there are those who are waking up and saying, you know, I want shalom. And when they hear the name, they get excited about it. They can't even explain it. Pavlo, hey Pavlo. Pavlo's back. We love you, man. There's some light for you, Pav. To the called ones are all people, but called ones and chosen ones, only few of all. Many are called, but few are chosen. And it's as basic as it sounds. The Father calls many, and they come, like they'll come here, and they'll try and get into what we're doing. But He looks at their hearts, and He gives them a spirit of rejection. He's not choosing them, and they fade away. They don't come back. Many are called, few are chosen. The narrow path, few are those that even look for it. Fewer still are those that find it. Here, if you're here, you found it. But fewest of all are those who stay. We've seen some that have been here with us for years, and they've left. Some have trickled off. They've gone away. They were called, but they weren't chosen. And they may come back, in which case they are chosen, but the Father is the author and the finisher of everyone's walk, of everyone's belief. And He could have them come, see, and then drift away. And there's even a scripture in the Renewed Covenant books, send them to the devil. Let the devil have them. Why? So they can see how much worse things are in the devil's camp, and, then they'll come back. So Abba can draw people here. They can see his message, and then they'll go, Alan insulted me. Screw Alan, I'm out of here. Yeah, right. And they'll go away. And when they go away, all they're going to see is darkness. There's not much light on the internet, my friends. And again, let me remind you, never surf the internet without praying to the Father for guidance and protection before you even turn the web on, before you even go out there, because the devil is kicking major butt out there. Well, if they see the darkness and they go, I was wrong, they come back, they humble themselves, and we embrace them. But yeah, many are called, but not many are chosen. So it's a good question, Pablo. Say it over and over again. A lot of people just don't get it. What is that? Hail Razor 11. Snot. Ecofefe moment petit episode. What's up, little girl? You got an explanation for this?
Yeah, we talked about it. It was a typo kind of thing on the phone.
Oh, I thought maybe it was another language.
I'm not sure. I deleted one thing. I'm not sure. Never mind. I'm pestering again.
Yeah, is it true or is it snot? I mean, oh, it's snot. I got it.
Okay.
Shalom. Raw honesty. I learned so much watching your videos. That makes me so happy, sweetheart. You have a beautiful face. Let me know your beautiful name. Get rid of raw honesty. Unless, is that your company? Are you selling raw honest tea? Oh, honest tea. I get it. Cute. Put your name there. It's prettier. I don't know what it is, but it's prettier. Joanne. Hey, Joanne. We love Joanne. Joanne says, Alan, my driver who took me to where I had to go asked me who I studied with, so I told him. It got very quiet, and he lost his way. So I had to tell him how to get me home. That's bizarre, man. We shook him up, Joanne. Keep shaking him up. Who knows? Who knows? Amy keeps killing deer with her car. She's had 4 different cars. Way to go, Amy. It's a bit expensive. Shotgun would do you better. But whatever makes you happy, Yeah. I hit a deer once. Wasn't fun. Michelle Riley. Oh, hey, Michelle. What's the father's name? I need to repent if I've been saying it wrong. No, you don't. If you've been saying it wrong, you need to learn how to say it right. And the Father knows your heart, and He loves you for caring. His name is spelled Yod He Wah He. Yod He Yah. Wah He Wah. Yod He Wah He Yahweh. That's his name. Keep practicing it. If you have trouble pronouncing it, it's demons that are blocking you from getting it. Just keep at it. Hail Racer 11, my apologies. I'm here to learn. Fingers are big. Keyboard is small. I hope you're not trying to type on a telephone, man. I don't know how people do that. What's supposed to be Colorado Springs. We love you, man. You got a beautiful face. I like your goat. Put your name up there, man, so we know what your name is. This is a family gathering, and we want you to be part of our mishpacha, part of our family. You look like a real man. It's good to see. Wow, is there that much yakking, or did I... No, is that much yakking? Raw honesty. Takia is my name. Cool, put it up, sweetheart. Get rid of the raw honesty. And, be a regular family member with us. Hey, Michelle's been saying it right. Let me tell you, Michelle, I've said this before. There are some people who can't pronounce his name. And there's a reason. It's not a good one. Jeremy. I don't want to laugh at violence, he says, but the thought process of weaponizing kites. Well, you know, you can get the kids to go out and do your warfare on the weekends for you, Jeremy? Oh, man. What a world. The flesh is insane. The devil is an insane genius. Hellraiser 11, not done live chat before. Is it real time? Yeah, man. This is real time right now. It's just after 8 p.m. I'm in New Jersey on the East Coast. This is live. When we're done, YouTube processes it and puts it up. And if anybody missed it, a lot of people, we have people here from all around the earth. And every week I'll go later. Like right now we're doing 7 p.m. I think we might do 7 p.m. all next week too. But then we'll go to 9 p.m. for a week. Then we'll shift to 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I go around the clock so we can get everybody involved. But yeah, the flesh is insane. Satan is an insane genius. And the world is operating on insane principles which no one recognizes because they're all insane.
Can we get an It's a Madhouse?
We can get an It's a Madhouse. Where is he here?
It's a madhouse! A madhouse!
Hello. Hello.
That's a scene from Dial M for Murder. Anyway, he's got something around her neck. Michael Masako, caregiver, I watched Alan Renewing of Your Mind this morning. Best way to start a day before entering the chaos. I spent the entire drive into work talking to Almighty Yahweh. Wash and grow. Wash and grow. Yeah, we're gonna have a drive-through. Wash wash and grow. People get washed by the word when they enter. No soap, suds, or brushes, but when they come out, they've grown in the word. Amy. I've shared the Father's name, Yahweh, with family and co-workers, but none care to hear it or use it, so I have none to share it with but here. Let me tell you, Amy, we've had people out there with pretty major YouTube channels, man, doing all the Hebrew stuff for years, and then pronouncing the Father's name properly, Yahweh, for years, and who have now nixed the whole thing. King James only, or you're going to hell. It's Jesus, Lord and God. Forget everything else. They just have rejected his name. And if you want a real kick, last year, 2018, July 5th, I read chapter 50 from the book of Enoch. And it talks about those. It talks about those. Go check it out. You'll be floored. All right, we're going to wrap things up. It's after the hour. Yod hey wah hey. Yod hey yah. Wah hey wah. Pretty simple. And listen, if you surf the web without praying, you're going to come across this Jew named Nehemiah. And everybody's like, Alan, have you heard Nehemiah? He's so intelligent. He says the Father's name is Jehovah. And I'm like, look, you're talking about a non-believing Jew. That's what you get for surfing and not praying. He's a non-believing Jew. How could he possibly know the Father's true name? Jehovah. Jehovah means that the Father is Satan. Jehovah. Yahweh is chaos, ruin, destruction, and mischief. Don't ever call the Father Jehovah unless you want to hear him say, get out of here, I never knew you. Okay, we're done. I don't see any QQQs. I see a lot of chatty family members. Pavlo, yeah. The first video Pavlo saw of mine was titled, Satan's Name is God. He said I was afraid to open it. That's why I titled it that way. It's like, what? But after a few times, yeah. Satan's name is God Riel. We see that very clearly in the book of Enoch. And the short form of that is God. Lord, that's the English way of saying Baal. Satan. Yeah, getting the HalleluYah Scriptures. They don't make it real easy. But if you look in the more info section under my videos, I have a video that shows you how. But you gotta go under the video into the more info section. Amy, I'm glad you haven't left the truth. Amy, I've been in the truth since I was birthed. You never see me go away. Not from the truth. Alright, we're done. Let's stop the chat. Let's bow our hearts and give Abba Father thanks. Dear beloved Abba Father, we come before you, Father, to thank you. Tuti, Abba, thank you, Father, for everything that you are giving us. Opening our eyes, ears, and hearts, causing us to see, hear, and understand your truth. Oh, thank you, Father, for the seeds you are planting through this video. Thank you for causing them to take root, to be watered, to spring forth with fruit that bears the seed of Yeshua. As we give this day and every day, Abba, to you, Yeshua, and your Ruach HaKodesh, praying in Yeshua's mighty name, Yahweh, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh Echad. And all the newbies and all the truebies said,
Amen.
Amen. Any closing thoughts, little girl?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I had it in my head how, you know, sharing that revelation was going to go, and it was more of a discussion with you in my mind.
Right.
And then I got going, and it was like a train down off. And I just want everyone to know I really esteem Alan and him as the leader of this flock, and I didn't mean to take over.
You didn't take over. You didn't take over. You shared your thing, and I shared my reaction to it, and we had a nice conversation with our mishpacha about it.
Excellent. Well, I'm not immune to the darts of Hashatan, so I just thought I'd get it out there and everyone could laugh.
We love you, and we thank you for sharing it.
We love you too, and thank you for all you're doing that's allowing the Father to work within us, in our hearts, without the mud on his word. It's just, thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you. I love you all too.
Shalom.
Shalom, sweetheart. That's our study for tonight, my friends. Abba willing, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will begin our study in the book of 1 Samuel. And until then, keep your wicks trimmed and your lamps ablaze. Love you all so very much, my friends. Shalom.
I sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him, Elohim of my father, and I exalt him. Yahweh is a man of battle, Yahweh is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The depths covered them, they went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has become great in power. Your right hand, O Yahuwah, has crushed the enemy. And in the greatness of your excellence, you pulled down those who rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath, it consumed them like stubble, and with the wind of your nostrils, the waters were heaped up. The floods stood like a wall, the depths became stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I pursue, I overtake, I divide the spoil, my being is satisfied on them. I draw out my sword, my hand destroys them. You blew with your wind, the sea covered them, they sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahuwah, among the mighty ones? Who is like you, great in Kodeshah, awesome in praises, working wonders? You stretched out your right hand, the earth swallowed them. In your kindness, you led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength, you guided them to your Kodesh dwelling. Peoples heard, they trembled. Anguish gripped the inhabitants of Pelasheth. Then the chiefs of Edom were troubled, the mighty men of Moab. Trembling grips them, all the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them by the greatness of your arm. They are as silent as a stone. Until your people pass over, O Yahuwah. Until the people whom you have bought pass over. You bring them in and plant the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Yahuwah, which you have made for your own dwelling, the Mikdash, O Yahuwah, which your hands have prepared. Yahuwah reigns forever and ever.